Hello everybody, Nihil here, and welcome to a video deck tech for my Modern Eggs deck. This deck's pretty cheap for a semi-competitive deck, about tier 2 to 3. It was actually, it went 7-3 and 6-3 at Pro Tour Rivals of Ixalan. Only 2 people at the tournament played it, and they both did fairly well, so I decided to pick it up, and it's pretty good. Wins usually around turn 3 to 4, and it's not too expensive either. It's about $150, and that's with TCG player places, which is what my LGS uses. So first up, we have Emrakul, the Aeons Torn. Only a 1-of. If you're not familiar with this card, it is 15 mana. Is a legendary creature Eldrazi, and is a 15/15. Can't be countered, and when you cast it, you take an extra turn. Flying, protection from color spells, and Annihilator 6. And if you don't know what Annihilator 6 means, when this creature attacks, defending player sacrifices 6 permanents, which is just insane. It blows up all their lands, all their creatures, and when you're comboing off turn 3 or 4, that usually will result in a game win on the spot. When Emrakul is put into a graveyard from anywhere, its controller shuffles his or her graveyard into his or her library. So basically, they can't get rid of it unless they like surgical in response to the trigger. But it's whatever. If they do that, then okay, sure, you win. So Emrakul, giant spaghetti monster, looks kind of like spaghetti, which is why I got that nickname. Just an insane card, most expensive card I own right now. It's $50 or $41. Is how much I got it for off of TCG player prices, and it's just an absolute bomb. If you can get this thing down, which can't be countered, so it will resolve. As soon as you cast this thing, they will just concede on the spot 99% of the time, because you're going to be taking an extra turn, hitting them for 15, sacrificing all their permanents. Even if you can't hit them with that 15 damage swing, maybe some other creatures alongside it, it'll just be game over. Emrakul is probably the most powerful creature in Modern. Just an absolutely insane card. Super powerful, but it is 15 mana. So you might be wondering how we're going to get that 15 mana, and now I'll show you. So we're going to start out with the creatures. We're playing 8 of them, or 7 of them. Emrakul is the #1 creature, probably one of the best cards in Modern. Just really, really good if you can get that 15 mana. So next we have Scrap Trawler. We're playing 4 Scrap Trawlers, new from Kaladesh. Well, not too new now, but it is the newest card in the deck. It's 3 mana for a 3/2 artifact creature construct. Not the best stat line, but we don't care about its stats. We just care about this line of text right here. Whenever Scrap Trawler or another artifact you control is put into the graveyard from the battlefield, return to your hand target artifact card in your graveyard with lesser converted mana cost. Now that is a mouthful, but you can get the gist. You sacrifice a 2-mana artifact, you get a 1-mana artifact back from your graveyard. Sacrifice a 1-mana artifact, you get a 0-mana artifact back. And that is how we're going to just be looping it to get the 15 mana for the Emrakul. Just a really, really good card. We are playing 4 Scrap Trawlers. Next up, we have Hangarback Walker. XX for a 0/0 artifact creature construct. Now that obviously seems pretty bad, but it enters the battlefield with X +1/+1 counters on it. So in case you're not familiar with how XX works, however much mana you put into that is half of what X will equal. So you pay 10 mana, X is 5. You pay 4 mana, X is 2. And then it ends the battlefield with X +1/+1 counters on it. So if you cast it for 10 mana, it ends the battlefield with 5 +1/+1 counters on it. So it's a 10 mana 5/5, which again doesn't seem that good, but when it dies, you put a 1/1 colorless Thopter artifact creature token onto the battlefield, or with flying onto the battlefield for each +1/+1 counter on Hangarback Walker. So basically equal to X. Then you can pay 1 mana, tap it, put a +1/+1 counter on it, but we don't really care about that. We just care about getting those Thopters. And this can also be used. You may be wondering why we're only playing 1 Emrakul, and you will see later in the video in combination with this bad boy. So we are playing 2 Hangarback Walkers. They're about, I think, $7 a piece right now. Not all too much. So those are our creatures. We're only playing 7, 2 Hangarback Walkers, 4 Scrap Trawlers, and then the Emrakul to finish the game off. Next, we have the main combo piece of the deck, Krark-Clan Ironworks. This is how we're going to be getting that 15 mana to cast an Emrakul. Sacrifice an artifact, add 2 colorless to your mana pool. So we are playing 29 or 30 artifacts in this deck, not including the Hangarback Walkers and Scrap Trawlers, which can also be sacrificed to this. So it is It is just an insane card, about $8 each right now, which is a lot, but for only an uncommon, but it is an insanely powerful card, key to the deck, absolutely needed, and I really like the flavor text on this as well, if you want to, you know, pause the video and read that real quick. But actually, our junk, Refuse and Awful, is turned into an Emrakul. So, Krark-Clan Ironworks, really, really good card, and really good sack outlet, which you'll see a lot of our artifacts have. When this leaves the battlefield, triggers, most of them are draw cards, or actually all of them. So we are playing 4 Krark-Clan Ironworks, absolutely necessary. Next we have Mind Stone. Now we're going to get to our artifacts, the meat of the deck. We're playing 8 2-mana artifacts, 12 1-mana artifacts, and 4 0-mana artifacts. So that is a total of 24 artifacts that we are going to use to sacrifice to Krark-Clan Ironworks. So really good there. First up we have Mind Stone. 2 mana for an artifact. Tap it to add 1 colorless mana to your mana pool, place below as mana source, or you can pay 1 mana, tap it, sacrifice it to draw a card. Just a good 2 mana artifact. This is the only thing that allows for a turn 3 kill. Actually, there's another card that does, so I bite my tongue there. But Mind Stone, really good for ramp. This is really good for a turn 3 Krark-Clan Ironworks if you hit your 3rd land drop. So that's really, really good. And then you can also use it to draw a card. And mainly you want to be sacrificing this. Well, it depends. If you need the 2 mana, you want to sacrifice to Krark-Clan Ironworks. But if you have all the mana in the world and you're just digging for an Emrakul still, then you can use that sacrifice ability. And also this is really good with Scrap Trawler to return your 1 mana artifacts to your hand and then your 0 mana artifacts. You'll see, I'll explain at the end of the video how the combo actually works, and I'll show an example as well. So we're playing 4 Mind Stones, and they are mismatched prints because I got 2 of them from a friend and 2 of them from my LGS. So, mismatch artworks, I'm so sorry. That's not the only card that's like that in the deck. So we're playing 4 Mind Stones. Next up we have Ichor Wellspring. 2 mana for an artifact. When it enters the battlefield, or put into the graveyard from the battlefield, draw a card. Nothing special with it, just 2 mana, draw 2 cards most of the time. And it works with Scrap Trawler really well, works with Krark-Clan Ironworks. It's basically just a free draw 2 cards, because you cast it for 2 mana, sack it for 2 mana, you know, it's just free, draw 2 cards, get back your Chromatic Stars and whatnot. So we're playing 4 Ichor Wellsprings, really good card. If I could play, I would play 30 of these copies if I couldn't, because it's just so good with the deck, just digging forever. Next we're on to our 1 mana artifacts, which are called Eggs. In case you're wondering why this deck is called Eggs, because you're going to be sacrificing a lot of stuff. Just sacrifice. And when you sacrifice something in Magic, it's referred to as cracking it. So we are cracking all of our eggs in this deck. Chromatic Star, the best of the eggs. 1 mana for an artifact. You can pay 1 mana, tap it, sacrifice it, add 1 mana of any color to your mana pool, or when it's put into the graveyard from play, you draw a card. Really, really good. About $4 each right now, so $16 for the set. But it is absolutely necessary. Chromatic Star is an insane card. Really good for color fixing, because you'll see later we are a 5-color deck, so really good for color fixing. But mainly we just use it to sacrifice our 2 mana with KCI and then draw a card. So Chromatic Star, the best of the 3 eggs. And now we'll get on to our second egg, which is Chromatic Sphere. Just a worse Chromatic Star, basically. And I'll show you why they're worse in a second. So, 1 mana artifact, pay 1 mana, tap it, sacrifice it, add 1 mana of any color to your mana pool, draw a card. So, the reason that this is worse than Chromatic Star, in case you don't see it yet, this, you only draw a card if you use this ability, whereas a Chromatic Star is whenever it's put into the graveyard from play. So, you can see here the differences in those two. Oops. One moment, sorry. For the sphere, you only draw a card when you activate its ability, but the star, you draw a card whenever it's put in a graveyard. So that means if you sacrifice a Chromatic Sphere to a Krark-Clan Ironworks, you will not draw a card. You'll just get the 2 mana. So you want to be using this one to color fix and this one with KCI. So if you have one on the battlefield of each and you need like a green mana, you want to use this for the green mana and this for the Krark-Clan Ironworks, if you understand what I mean. This one you want to use a color fix. This one you want to use with KCI to sacrifice. So we have 4 Chromatic Spheres. Even though it's worse than Chromatic Star, it is still really powerful. Again, another mismatch artwork, sorry. I got this one from my friend, so same with this Mind Stones, same friend. Next up we have Terrarion, the last of our 3 eggs. 1 mana, and it's battlefield tapped. You pay 2 mana, it's a 1 mana artifact, I forgot to say that. 2 mana, sacrifice it, add 2 mana in any combination of colors, 2 mana pool, and when it's put in the battlefield put it into the graveyard from the battlefield, draw a card. Sorry, lost my words there. Actually, I'm going to grab a drink while you can read this for a second. Oops. Sorry for that. I dropped something. But Terrarion is the worst of the 3 eggs, even worse than Sphere, but it is still good. It's bad that damages battlefield tapped, but usually this is the one that you want to be sacrificing in KCI the most. So, oops, I just messed with something on my phone. Sorry, I'm just messing up all day, right? So Terrarion, 1-mana artifact, the last of our eggs. So that does it for our 1-mana artifacts. And lastly, our 0-mana artifacts is Everflowing Chalice. We're playing a playset of these. This is strictly worse than Mox Opal, but Mox Opal is $70 each. That's $280 for a playset. This entire deck costs $150. That means that if I want to buy a playset of Mox Opals, or I should say, a playset of Mox Opals is worth twice as much as this entire deck. That's just insane. 1 Mox Opals is almost equal to 2 Emrakuls. It's just so expensive, but it is insane. So if you have Mox Opals, or you want to make this deck Tier 2 competitive and go 7th at Pro Tour, go ahead, get yourself some Mox Opals, spend your $280, but I will be sitting here with my Everflowing Chalice. This gets the job done, good enough, but it doesn't color fix, and it's just a lot worse than Mox Opal. Mox Opal is like 5 times better than this, but like I said, I am a broke high school student, and I do not have that kind of money. So this is a 0-mana artifact, multi-kicker of 2. You may pay an additional 2 any number of times as you cast a spell, and enters the battlefield with a charge counter on it for each time it was kicked, and you add 1 colorless to your mana pool for each charge counter on it. So you pay 2 mana, it enters the battlefield with 1 charge counter, you pay 4 mana, it enters the battlefield with 2 charge counters, so on and so forth. And actually, I used to think that this was 1 mana of any color, and I used to be using it to cast other like colored spells, and then I realized that I can't do that, and someone pointed it out to me, and I felt bad because I had been cheating. Ooh, I'm a cheater. I mean, I didn't know. Like, I honestly thought that this was like Mox Opal and was 1 mana of any color. In case you're not familiar with Mox Opal, look it up. Insane card. There's a reason that it's $70 each. And the legendary rule doesn't even matter when you're playing Krark-Clan Ironworks. You can just sacrifice it before the legend rule comes into effect. So we're playing 4 Everflowing Chalices, just because it is a 0-mana artifact for Scrap Trawler. Like, you'll play Scrap Trawler, sacrifice a Mind Stone, get back a Chromatic Star, sacrifice a Chromatic Star, get back a Chalice, sacrifice a Chalice, and then you have, you know, like, that's just 3 mana, and you've drawn 2 cards. So it's pretty good. So we are playing a playset of Everflowing Chalice. Next up, we have our non-artifact or creature cards, our 8 spells. We're playing 4 Ancient Stirrings. It's about $4 each, but it's a really good card. 1 green for a sorcery. Look at the top 5 cards of your library. Reveal a colorless card from among them, which includes Emrakul, and put the rest into your put it into your hand, and the rest onto the bottom of your library in any order. Sorry. So you look at the top 5 cards, you reveal a Krark-Clan Ironworks, an Emrakul, Hangarback Walker, any of those, even a land. You can read down here in this italics. Cards with no colored mana costs, no colored mana, and their mana costs are colorless. Lands are also colorless. So if you're mana screwed, you can use this to grab a land. Really good for digging. We are playing only the 1 Emrakul, so it is good to have ways to dig for it. So we're playing a playset of Ancient Stirrings. Really good card. Next, we're playing Faith's Reward. We're playing a playset of these as well. Most of the cards on this deck are a playset, except for Emrakul and Hangarback Walker, and then some of the lands. But because everything's kind of needed. But Faith's Reward, 3 of any and a white. Return to the battlefield all permanent cards in your graveyard that were put there from the battlefield this turn. It is an instant, so you sacrifice all your stuff to Krark-Clan Ironworks. You sacrifice like 15 artifacts, draw your 10 cards, get your 20 mana or whatever, and then you face reward, do it all again. And then you hopefully draw from your other 15 cards another face reward, do it all again. And then you have like 50 mana in your pool, you've drawn 30 cards, you cast your Emrakul, cast a Hangarback Walker for 20, win the game. Basically. So face rewards, some list, like the list that went 7-3 didn't play this at all, but that's also because they were playing Mox Opal, so it is easier to get that 15 mana, but I am playing face reward. It's just a really good card. I don't know why that guy wasn't playing face reward, at least as a 2 of. It's just a really powerful card. I would play it at least as a 2, but I am playing the whole 4 because I just really like the card. Usually you don't need more than 1 to get your 15 mana to cast your Emrakul, but I do like having the 4 of. Next up we have, we're going on to our 18 lands. We are only playing 18, which is a little light, but you can dig for them if you need them, and you really only need 3 if you have a Mind Stone now or an Everflowing Chalice, but you do need 4 for the Ironworks, if you want to go up to 19, 20 lands, you can cut some number of Faith's Reward, maybe like a Terrarion or two, maybe even a Mind Stone to go up some more lands. I saw a list that played 20. This one only plays 18, and I do like the 18, but we will start with Darksteel Citadel. It is an artifact land and is indestructible, but that does not stop you from sacrificing. So you can sacrifice this to Krark-Clan Ironworks, which is really, really good. You can just tap it to add one colorless to your mana pool. And most of our stuff is artifacts, so we don't really care that we're tapping for colorless. Excuse me, sorry. But you can sacrifice this to Krark-Clan Ironworks, so it's effectively 3 mana with Krark-Clan Ironworks, because you can tap it, add 1 mana to your mana pool, and then sack it to add another 2. So this is really good. Also good with face reward. You can sacrifice this to Krark-Clan Ironworks and then face reward it back. So it's just a free 3 mana. Darksteel Citadel definitely need a 4 of 100%. Plays as a playset, and it's like 10 cents, so like why not, right? Next up we have Sanctum of Ugin. I'm playing a playset of these. Let me grab myself some Hangarback Walkers real quick. That's another Scrap Trawler. Where am I? Hangarback Walkers. Apparently I'm insane. Hold on. There we go. And I dropped it, of course. Wow, such high production value. Well, thank you, viewers. I appreciate that. One moment. There we are. Sorry for that. I had to reach down to grab that Hangarback Walker that I dropped so majestically. So Sanctum of Ugin, tap it. It's a land. Tap it. Add 1 mana to your mana pool. Add 1 colorless to your mana pool. Whenever you cast a colorless spell with converted mana cost 7 or greater, you may sacrifice Sanctum of Ugin. If you do, search your library for a colorless creature card, reveal it, put it into your hand, then shuffle your library. So you have one of these out, and if you don't have an Emrakul in your hand, you can cast a Hangarback Walker or an Everflowing Chalice for 8 mana, or the Chalice. Yeah, you cast either of them for 8 mana, and then dig for your Emrakul. So if you don't have your Emrakul in your hand, but you have a Sanctum out and a Hangarback or a Chalice in your hand, cast them for 8, go grab your Emrakul, win the game. Also, Hangarback, I didn't mention this earlier, you can also sacrifice the Thopters that it makes. So let's say you cast this for 8, you get your Emrakul, then you can sack the Hangarback Walker for 2 mana, get 4 Thopters, sack them all for mana, and it's effectively, like, you get 10 mana when you cast this for 8. And then you only need 5 more mana for the Emrakul. Same thing with the Chalice. You cast that for 8, tap it for 4 mana, sacrifice it. That's a 6 mana there, so you're almost getting back on your investment. But Hangarback Walker, Sanctum of Ugin is a really, really good card. I'm just gonna throw this Hangarback Walker back down there. I'm playing a playset. Some lists only play 3, but I do like the 4 of. It's all matter of preference. You can play 3 or 4. Most of the lists that play 3 play some number, 1 more Inventors Fair, which is actually the land we're getting onto right now. So yeah, I am playing 4 Sanctum of Ugins, but you can go 3 and 3 with Inventors Fair. I'll quickly read that. It's a legendary land, which is the reason I'm only playing 2, because I have gotten into situations where it is awkward with 2 Inventors Fairs. So I'm playing 3 of these, 4 of Sanctum of Ugin, but you can play 3 and 3 because Inventors Fair is really, really good. You can tap it to add 1 waste mana to your mana pool, or you can pay 4 mana, tap it, sacrifice it, and search your library for an artifact card, reveal it, put it in your hand, shuffle your library. Activate this ability only if you have Metalcraft, which is when you control 3 or more artifacts. So, also, I forgot to read, at the beginning of your upkeep, if you control 3 or more artifacts, you gain 1 life. We really don't care about our life, but it can help, gaining that extra 1 or 2 mana, gaining the extra 1 or 2 life, even up to 3. But if you're getting 3 life with this thing, then you're probably doing something wrong, because you should be killing your opponent, and then your life just doesn't matter. But it does help against burn and other decks that just try to get your life total to 0 ASAP. But mainly it's just used for that other ability. You can dig for a Krark-Clan Ironworks or a Scrap Trawler when needed. Just being able to tutor for one of those is really good. You cannot get a Emrakul with this, because it is only an artifact card, and Emrakul is not an artifact. But still really, really strong. I play a 2 of because it is legendary, but you can go 3 and 3. Next we have Spire of Industry. This is for color fixing. You can tap it to add a waste mana to your mana pool, or you can tap it, pay 1 life, add 1 mana of any color to your mana pool. Activate this ability only if you control an artifact. Like I said, we have about 40 artifacts in this deck that this can be activated with, so you should always be able to do that, and it's good for color fixing, good for casting your Ancient Stirrings and your face rewards. But usually I just use this for the you know, one colorless mana. Also, this is a strictly budget Glimmer Void as well. If you have Glimmer Voids, play those. I wouldn't recommend going and getting those because they are like $80 for a playset. But Spire of Industry, they're about $3 a pop, so about $12 as compared to $80. You're saving a lot of money, and it does basically the same thing because you should only need it the one time. We're playing a playset of Spire of Industry. And now on to Tendo Ice Bridge. This card I've actually never heard of before I saw this deck, and this is like the only deck it sees play in. Yet it's still $2.50, which is kind of mind-boggling, even though this is like the only deck it sees play in. So it enters the battlefield with a charge counter on it. You can tap it for one colorless, or you can tap it, remove the charge counter, and add 1 mana of any color to your mana pool. So it's one time only color fixing. Sorry. So one time only color fixing, which is all you'll really need with this. So you can tap it to cast your artifacts, or you can tap it to cast turn 1 Ancient Stirrings, or, you know, use it for face reward later in the game, or any of your, you know, other 3 colors in sideboard cards. Because like I said, this is a 5-color deck, so the color fixing is really good, but a lot of your eggs tap for a mana of any color anyway, so it's pretty good. We're playing 2 Tendo IceBridge, and the last card in the deck, 1 basic forest. Wow, shiny, yay. You want to play the forest so that you can turn 1 Ancient Stirrings. I saw one list that played a basic plains instead, but I would not recommend that. Play the forest, just so you can get that turn 1 Ancient Stirrings. And that is the only basic in the deck. So now, we'll quickly go back through the deck one more time in its entirety. We are playing 1 forest. Let me just zoom out a little bit. 1 forest, 2 Tendo IceBridge, 4 Spire of Industry, 2 Inventors Fair, 4 Sanctum of Ugin, 4 Darksteel Citadel, 4 Face Reward, 4 Ancient Stirrings, 4 Everflowing Chalice, 4 Terrarion, 4 Chromatic Sphere, 4 Chromatic Star, 4 Ichor Wellspring, 4 Mindstone, 4 Krark-Clan Ironworks, 2 Hangarback Walkers, they're the ones down here, 4 Scrap Trawlers, and last but not least, 1 Emrakul, the Aeons Torn. So that is the deck. There will be a list in the description. And now onto the sideboard. Oops, falling apart on me. First up, we have 4 Nature's Claims. Destroy 1 mana, instant, 1 green, instant, destroy target artifact or enchantment, its controller gains 4 life. We don't care about their life when we're making them sacrifice all their permanents, and this is really good against Stony Silence. So I would recommend the 4 of, but you can go with a 3. I have seen most lists with 3. But now that Lantern won the Pro Tour, I'd definitely go up to 4 because Stony Silence is like a lot more prevalent. Next we have 4 Nihil Spellbombs. I would only play 2 of these and 2 Blood Moons. But Blood Moon is $20 each right now, so I don't really want to spend that $40 when it's not that necessary. It's kind of ironic they're playing 5 colors, and yet Blood Moon is played in the deck, but that's just because all of our eggs tap for mana of any color, so we don't really care about all our stuff being mountains. So I'm playing 4 Nihil Spellbombs. Of course, this does not do anything the same as Blood Moon, but nothing better to really play. But, I mean, these two Nihil Spellbomb slots... Oops, dropped one. But 2 of these slots, I would definitely play the 2 of, but the other 2 slots are flex spots. Play whatever sideboard card you really, really want in that place. Next up, we have cards to go against control. We have 2 defense grids. These are actually pretty expensive. They're like $5 each for some reason. But, I mean, I've never seen them played, but, I mean, they are $5 each. 2-mana artifact. During each player's turn, spells played by another player cost an additional 3. So this is really good against control. They're not going to be able to counter your stuff or use spot removal on your stuff. Also, I just realized I didn't say what Nihil Spellbomb does. It's 1-mana artifact. Tap it, sacrifice it, exile all cards from target player's graveyard. And when it's put into the battlefield when it's put into the graveyard from the battlefield, you need to pay 1 black mana. If you do, draw a card. So it's good with Krark-Clan Ironworks, and it's good against graveyard decks. Also, I forgot to say, Nature's Claim is good against Leyline of the Void, which is a card that a lot of Gen decks bring in against us, because we are pretty reliant on our graveyard with Face Reward and Scrap Trawler. And since I am playing the 4 Face Reward, this version is a little bit worse than the other deck, than the other list. I mean, it's less resilient to graveyard hate, because our graveyard matters a lot more when we're playing 4 Face Reward. Because if they have a Leyline of the Void out, then our graveyard does nothing. And our Face Reward are therefore useless. So the defense good, really good against control, good against spot removal. They won't be able to take out your Scrap Trawlers mid-combo, and they won't be able to counter your stuff. Ghirapur Aether Grid, another really good card against control. 2 of any and a red for an enchantment. Tap 2 untapped artifacts you control. Ghirapur Aether Grid does 1 damage to target creature or player. Really good against control. You just ping them every turn. Doesn't matter if you can't resolve your Emrakul, or you will resolve the Emrakul, but if you can't resolve like a KCI or something, all you need to do is resolve this, and you get a 20-turn clock, yay, or 10-turn clock if you have 4 artifacts and whatnot. So we're playing 2 Ghirapur Aether Grids, really good against control. Next we're playing 2 Pyroclasms, 1 of any, and a red for a sorcery. Deal 2 damage to each creature. Pretty plain and simple against low-to-the-ground decks that are trying to get under Jace the Mind Sculptor, because that is, a really insane card. Good against, like, Goblins, Burn, Dredge, just small shenanigans kind of decks. And lastly, we have 1 Battle at the Bridge, good against Burn. It's X and 1 black, Improvise. Your artifacts can help cast a spell. Each artifact you tap after an activating melee ability is pays for 1 colorless mana. Target creature gets -X until end of turn, you gain X life. So, it is a sorcery, it's really good against burn, just really good for gaining life. And then that is the sideboard. Once again, 1 Battle at the Bridge, 2 Pyroclasm, 2 Ghirapur Aether Grid, 2 Defense Grid, 4 Nihil Spellbombs, but like I said, the other 2 are a flex spot, play whatever you want, preferably Blood Moons, but I'm broke. And then 4 Nature's Claims, 4 Stony Silence, and Leyline of the Void. And then that about does it. If you guys would like, and this video gets enough love, I can do a separate video demonstrating the combo. Just showing you guys like how it works, the ins and outs, maybe some pointers, a sideboard guide even. Say if this video can get 3 likes, I'll do that there, this video is probably gonna get like 4 views anyway, so if I can get 3 likes, I will do that. And also, make sure you guys check the description for links to the deck. There will be a tapped out list and an MTG Goldfish list down there. If you guys want a list on like any other formats, like 5-color combo, whatever, just let me know and I can put a list on there too. But that about does it for Modern Eggs. Have fun cracking eggs and throwing spaghetti at people with this giant Emrakul. This has been Harry. Thank you guys for watching. See you next time.